Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Life. This is what I do, what I'm doing to digitalize these pictures and then store them. The reason that I'm sharing this is because maybe one or two of these ideas of things that I'm doing would help you to wrap your head around how to organize and do that with your pictures. Because sometimes it's just hard to even get started. Yeah, like just, what do I do with all of this? My mom is here visiting, and so I thought I would take advantage of that opportunity to sort and digitalize a few of the pictures that we have here. So because she can help me, who is this? Do you know what date that was? About how old they were? Where did we live when we did, when this happened? Those kinds of things that kind of help narrow down what is happening in the pictures and who's in them. What year do you think this is?
Okay. Andrew is about 18 months probably.
Even though a photo album like this is kind of fun and nice to have out on your table or on a shelf that's easy to grab so that you could look through it and things like that, this takes up a lot of space, a lot of space, and isn't necessarily the best method for storing pictures if you're looking at trying to keep them in little, trying to keep the space that they're using up down to a minimum. A way to store pictures that don't take up a lot of space is to actually take them out of the albums and have them be individualized inside of a box. And so, this one's a little bit too tall, but so you could store a lot more pictures this way inside this box than you can inside of, say, a photo album like this. I have the different boxes, several different boxes, and in each one of these boxes I've designated each box as a different era. This is the 1980s. And so each one of these tabs has some different, 1981, 82, whatever. And, over here I have the 1970s. And back here I think I have the 1960s and the 1990s. So I have different boxes for different eras. And the truth is that this box will probably become too full for me to store all of the 1980s in one box. I probably will end up having multiple boxes, but for the moment, obviously, I haven't gotten enough done to have it fill up. All of the pictures that are in these boxes have already been scanned and taken care of. So these pictures are the next group of pictures that I'm going to scan. And truthfully, they're just random pictures. However, if I can happen to find some that look like that they happened around the same time period, I'll try and keep those pictures together so that I know that these pictures were taken at the same time. And so I kind of want to keep those together. And this happened to be in the same roll of film, because sometimes there's something in one of the pictures that helps define the time period that wouldn't be in the others. And this one of the pictures, only one of them, has a time stamp, a date stamp on the back. And so that's going to help me figure out when these pictures were taken. Everybody's setup is going to be different, and how your scanner works would be different. And so I am not the technical guru. I am not the IT person to figure that out. I will just say that when you're doing this, you'll probably need to scan your pictures. There are other ways, and I will talk about one of those. If you do not have the option of scanning photos, there is something else that I do that is just snapping a picture of the photo. But I'm going to give you a couple of small tips on how to snap a picture of a photo. First of all, you need indirect sunlight, which means a cloudy day by a window, or something where there's plenty of outdoor light, but it's not shining directly on the picture. You do not want to snap the picture underneath a overhead light, because it will shine down on the picture and it will cause, you know, shine spots. So I decided I'm going to take the picture over here of my picture because I have some big windows with some good indirect sunlight. Many times the picture will have a glare on it. You can kind of see how there's a glare across the thing. To fix that glare, oftentimes you can tip the camera. Now this one creates it by tipping the camera. But to fix that glare, you can often tip the camera, but that puts the picture out of, like, this is gonna be skinny, this is gonna be fat. So that's why you need to have the picture taken at a very upright angle. If you need to tip the picture, I would recommend using a book and lifting the book until you get a good angle, and then zooming in and snapping the picture. As I'm trying to figure out the dates and things on some of the pictures, one of the things that I do is I will like write down all of the dates, or like a group of dates. And so like this is the 1980s, and I made up some names. And so like Tommy was born in 1980, and Stanley was born in 1982, and Hilda was born in 1983. B was born in 1986. What I do is I find a picture and I would be like, well, Tommy's probably 6 in that picture. I could be like, well, then that's probably around 1986. Well, B isn't born yet in that picture, and so he can't be 6 because B was born in 1986, so maybe it's 1985. To have it written down like this so that I can like visually look at it, and I can be like, I can even write down like what year of school he was in or those kinds of things, then it helps me figure out what year the picture was taken. After I scan the picture and it shows up on the little thing, what I do is I go back through and I try to rename the picture by the date that I think that it was taken, or the approximate date. By clicking on the picture, it has a drop-down box, go down here to rename, and then you can see that you can rename the picture. I rename my pictures by date, and I do a 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. And if I don't have those dates, then I use zeros. And so like I think that this picture was in 1977, so I'll put 1977 0000, because I don't know what month or day that it was taken. But by having all of those digits, it formats the pictures nicely. The other thing that I do is that if I go in here and I go down towards the bottom, I have the properties of the picture. Under details, there's a thing for comments. If I go to comments, I can add the names or other things that I could say, this is in Payson Canyon and the people in the picture are such and such. I have a 1970s folder, and so I will take this picture and I will paste it into my 1970s folder, and it will align up by date. If you use that 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day in that order, then it will, all of the pictures will, in this particular folder, are lined up by the date. The 1970s pictures are towards the top of the folder, the 1979 pictures are towards the bottom of the folder, and so it helps you figure out, or, you know, inside your folder in the computer, the pictures are basically in the right spot. I will have a 1960s folder, a 1970s folder, a 1980s folder, a 1990s folder, and have all of the pictures divided up by date. At that point, you can also divide them up by who's in the picture or whatever else, but there are lots of different ways that you can organize your pictures. I choose to do it by date because it's the easiest way, in my mind, to do it, since a lot of times there's multiple people within a picture, and I don't want the picture in 5 different places on my computer because pictures take up so much memory anyway. I just want it on one place. And so I will put them in there by date. It's how I choose to organize it. There are plenty of ways to organize. You can do it whatever works for you. Obviously, there's a lot of them that I don't have the exact date. Some of the pictures I will put the date plus a name of a person that's in the picture, or a place that we took the picture, or something like that. If I have multiple pictures from the same day, then I just differentiate them by putting a parentheses 1 or something like that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many you have. I have this picture scanned. I have it renamed with an approximate date. I have the people who are in the picture in the comments. And now I take this and I find my 1970s box over here, the one with the rainbows and unicorns. And I flip to 1977 and I flop it in there. So any of the pictures that are in these boxes I know are scanned and already taken care of. And so that's an easy way for me. If I need to stop, I can just close up these boxes and I know exactly what, that these pictures are already taken care of. And I know that the pictures that aren't in these particular boxes still need to be scanned or that kind of thing. That is the basics of how I organize my pictures, how I scan them and how I label them and where I, how I put them in the boxes, and that I use these photo boxes because you can put a lot more photos in a smaller space and then they don't take up as much space, storage space. I'm gonna get back to scanning a few more pictures. If you have other ideas or tips on things that you do to scan and store your pictures and organize them, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on A Lolly Life.